Welcome to the deep dive. It's July 11th, 2025. And if you've been following the news, you know this week has been, well, explosive. We've got three huge headlines buzzing. The Epstein case suddenly closed, Bitcoin hitting a crazy new high, and Elon Musk starting his own political party. Seems like chaos, maybe? But Simon Dixon's recent commentary suggests there are threads connecting all of this. So today we're going to, try and decode these shifts.
Exactly. That's the plan for this deep dive. We want to cut through all that noise, try to spot the underlying patterns, help you see the bigger picture, which, according to the source material we're looking at, involves something called the proof of weapons network. Quite a term.
It really is. Okay, let's kick off with the markets then, because the message there seems, well, pretty clear. Divergence. Bitcoin absolutely rocketed. Over 55% up since April, smashed past $118,000, a new all-time high.
Yeah, incredible numbers. And then you look at the U.S. dollar, it's having its worst start to a year since, 1973? Down almost 11% in 6 months.
That contrast is stark, isn't it?
It really is. The source suggests this isn't just market fluctuation. It's like a fundamental sign that the old financial system is maybe starting to unravel.
And Bitcoin's status now, it's overtaken Google. Sixth most valuable asset in the world. Plus, it's beating gold this year, up 27% versus gold's 26%. How does the source tie this into, policy stuff?
Right. Well, timing is interesting. Next week is apparently U.S. Crypto Week in Congress.
Yeah.
They're looking at some critical bills like the Clarity Act, Genius Act, and one called the Anti-CBDC Act.
Yeah.
Basically trying to stop a government-controlled digital dollar. The stated aim is, making the U.S. the crypto capital, but without that central control. And a big win for privacy just happened, too, that proposed Treasury rule for crypto brokers. The one with new KYC on code and IRS tracking for peer-to-peer killed.
Okay, so that's significant. And you mentioned Elon Musk. Tesla's sitting on a huge unrealized Bitcoin profit, right? Like $756 million. And his new America Party is pro-Bitcoin.
Which brings us maybe to the bigger picture, the macro environment. The source frames this as a kind of deliberate destabilization.
Destabilization? To what end?
To basically pave the way for a new financial system. Take Trump pushing for that massive 300 basis point rate cut. That's triple the size of the emergency cut back in March 2020. The source sees this as a push for fiscal dominance.
Fiscal dominance, meaning what exactly?
Basically letting inflation run hot to erode the value of government debt, then refinancing it super cheap, maybe even using stablecoins.
Okay. And then we have the tariff wars heating up again. That 90-day deadline passed, new rates are out, and that new 50% tariff on copper. Prices jumped 13%. Another all-time high.
Yeah, and the world isn't just sitting back. Brazil signed a big 20-year trade deal with China. And at the BRICS summit, all 11 members were there. They were calling for UN and IMF reform, a new payment system separate from the U.S., and condemning the tariffs. Brazil's President Lula even said, point blank, BRICS should ditch the dollar.
So a lot of moving parts. How does Musk's party fit into this view?
Well, the source sees the America Party as a very calculated move. It's framed as part of power struggle inside this proof of weapons network.
Yeah.
A fight between the tech industrial complex and the financial industrial complex. Elon, in this view, is trying to protect his interests, EV subsidies, government contracts, that sort of thing.
Okay, that's one interpretation. And this connects to geopolitics, too. Even the Epstein case closure. That seems like a leap.
It does, but the source makes a direct link. It argues the timing, right, as Netanyahu visits the White House, isn't coincidence. It calls the closure a strategic move, not about justice, but potentially covering up what it claims was a Mossad-backed intelligence operation used for blackmail. Heavy stuff.
Wow. Okay, that's a very strong claim. And it leads into another provocative idea from the source, the Israel is a colony thesis.
Yeah, the argument presented is that both Trump and Netanyahu are essentially managed assets within this U.S. proof of weapons network, that Israel acts as a sort of proxy for the U.S. military-industrial complex, used, allegedly, to generate conflict to keep the dollar debt system going.
A debt Ponzi scheme, as the source puts it.
Exactly. And connecting this to the tragedy in Gaza, the source points to UN reports calling the U.S.-backed humanitarian operation there a killing camp. Horrific reports of over 800 Palestinians massacred. The source claims this atrocity is then used as, believe it or not, negotiating leverage.
That's incredibly bleak. Is there any glimmer of an alternative path mentioned?
There is a mention of a possible path to decolonization. Netanyahu himself apparently told Trump, I think Palestinians should be able to govern themselves. The source speculates about a potential endgame. Maybe a Gaza ceasefire, the Israeli government collapsing, Gulf Cooperation Council leaders stepping in, and even BlackRock potentially investing in the region afterwards,
Yeah.
seeking stability.
So tying this all together then, the source's core argument is about this proof of weapons network.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
That its operating model is, allegedly, manufacture conflict, manage the resolution, and keep the dollar debt system afloat. The dollar, in this view, isn't backed by gold or real production anymore, but by, and I quote, a global network of violence and debt.
Okay. That is a lot to process. So the source leaves us with a final thought, a kind of provocative idea for you, the listener. It talks about a path to a peaceful boycott.
Right. Boycott the Fed by using Bitcoin. Boycott BlackRock by holding assets yourself, self-custody. Boycott banks by trying to become debt-free. And boycott huge global corporations by spending your money locally.
The idea being that choosing a different kind of monetary system, a peaceful, decentralized one, that's how you potentially reclaim some control in this very rapidly changing world.